In the Dragonlance world of Kryn, the red dragon finds their home in the mountainous country. They're even more notorious than green dragons when it comes to hoarding valuables. They attack their foes with their magic first, saving their fury breath for the last resort, to preserve their victim's treasure, of course. Red dragons possess the ability to shapeshift, and sometimes are the human beside you. They make a difficult foe, and since they are the largest of the dragons, their dragon breath of flame can melt solid rock like butter. Ember was Highlord Verminaard's dragon, who was sent on a mission to Tarkissus to find the Everman with the gem in his chest, and earns the distinction of the most important of the red dragons. Today, we make Ember's lair. Well, now that that's done, I bought my son this dragon for his birthday, and shh, he's in the other room and doesn't know it yet. Now, my boy has autism and he's not really gonna play with this thing, so well, the best thing I can do is make a nice mount for it for his desk. Today we're gonna use a couple of pieces of foam. We're gonna stick the foam together with some water-based contact cement, some gray and green paint, and for the gold, we're going to use some limestone dust that the bigger pieces that I make roads for my other models out of the real fine dust. But the stone pieces, the bigger stone pieces, I like to put on the side of the road. Well, that this time is going to be the gold that we place down. So let's go over the different things that I do to get this nice little mount together for Ember the dragon. Now, one thing I didn't want to do was to make a great big long video that would make you get all bored and shut the video off. So I sped up a lot of the things that I've done, like putting together the foam, gluing it, painting it black, painting it dark gray, coming back with a slate gray, and then using a little bit of green to start adding some moss to our stonework. Now that we fast forwarded to this point, let's listen to a little bit of music. Now, my pursuit of passion is to build scale model dioramas, mostly for model railroad clients. Now, I recognize that you might not be a model railroader or a scale model aficionado. You might be a fantasy nerd like me. I read the Dragonlance novels first time in 1989. Yeah, I'm getting old. But they're a wonderful set of books. The Chronicles, Dragons of Autumn Twilight, Dragons of Winter something, and Spring Dawning, and Summer something. It's a big adventure. My favorite characters were Tasselhoff, Burrfoot, Tanis, and of course Raceland. Now, like I already said, I am using my stony type stone dust material. Now, it's not really dust at all. The dust I take to use on my scale roads so that you really can't see the stones at all. It looks like real fine dust. You can't really see the pebbles at all. So I'm using the stony part of it for my gold piles, because in these dragon lairs you'd find gold piled up with armor sticking out and shields and tombs and spell books from magicians. All the stuff you can find in a dragon's lair. Now, the thing about this stone dust is when you want to glue it, you have to do a couple of things to make sure it actually does get glued 100% all the way through the pile without disturbing the pile. And I have learned this trick over many years of making model railroads. The trick to make sure that the whole entire pile of dirt is wet is to use a spray bottle. You don't spray it hard, because spraying it hard will move the stone around. But in the water itself, you have to put a couple of drops of dish soap. And this breaks the water tension. It makes the viscosity of the water, well, maybe not the viscosity, but it makes the water transit into the dirt all the way through the dirt. And that is the first step that you need. The second step is to take your full strength glue and mix it 50-50 with water. So 50% glue, 50% water. Now, it's not necessary to put dish soap in it, but it really can't hurt. Now, I don't have dish soap in mine, but you can do it in yours if you're worried about it, and I suggest you do it. When you get to the point where you are saying to yourself, I don't need the stinking soap no more, then you've one-upped. You've leveled up. Time to go check out what you got. So, to add the glue, we spray it on very lightly onto the piles of dirt. The water penetrates the entire dirt. Then we come back with our glue that is mixed really well. And when I say mixing it really well, you're gonna find out what I mean if you didn't mix it all the way, because the glue takes about a day to mix properly with the water. And if you don't do that, you're going to get some nice glue that looks perfect at start, and then all of a sudden it's gonna go whoop, and you're gonna get a pile of white glue. Now, the other thing that you want to do is to make sure that you're using a glue like Weld Bond glue, some kind of glue that dries perfectly clear, so that if it does actually get on your styrofoam or anything like that, it dries clear, and then it won't obscure your paint. It won't make it milky. You won't be able to notice it. It's an important detail. Now, after our glue has dried, now let's just say I took my platform and I put it outside in the sun and let it sit there for about 6 hours to cure up properly. Once cured up, I grabbed some paint that I got at my local D&D shop. It's called Game Color Amarillo Dorado, or that might be the Spanish. It's called Gold Yellow. Acrylos Vallejo paint. It's Vallejos. Oh, I use Vallejo in model railroading. So it's game color gold yellow from Vallejo. And it doesn't have to be a proper gold, a shimmery gold. It actually looks more realistic if you give it a dull look to it. Now you can figure that out on your own, but I just basically, after allowing the dirt to dry, the glue to dry in my dirt, we dabbed on the paint in a very light manner. And the way we do this is by dabbing off about 60% of the paint. Like when you dip your paint, your brush into your paint, you start dabbing it on your piece of paper to get the excess paint off, because that excess paint is going to puddle up and it's also going to look full strength yellow, and you don't want that to happen. You want to have your paint to have dips and valleys, some dark spots, and you can't do that if you're pounding it with bucket loads of paint. So dab off the majority of the paint from your brush. That is an important detail of control. And that doesn't matter if you're doing model railroads or fantasy art. So dab off that paint and lightly paint the sand, dirt, the gold around the edges. And the way you, and this is good because you want to use fine control to get those edges so that they're nice. You're not making a mucky edge on the side. And once you've got your edges cleared, then you can start painting your middles. And on top of the piles, that's where I start adding a lot more paint. But I don't do it all at once. I do it in small layers so that, you know, where I put a bucket load of paint is where exactly I want it to be. Now we found a couple of toys upstairs that look like a shield and a big key. I don't know what this big key's for. Maybe Ember got it from a giant. I'm sure Ember stole this key from a giant and is probably the key to the bathroom, and those giants are pissed off. I'm telling you, they're like, I just want to take a poo. Where's my key? And he's blaming me. He's like, Ron, you little prick, I'm gonna kick your butt. And I'm gonna say, I don't know where the key is either. If you kick me in the butt, I'm gonna fart and it's gonna stink. So, if you're into fantasy art, I think it would be a great idea to do this kind of thing. If you've got kids, one of the best things you can do for your children at around the age of 13, 14 years old is to get them into books. Get them into fantasy books so that they can recognize life, friends, friendship, adventuring, the power of honor, the reason you tell truths, and when you tell the lies, why you tell those lies. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you're into this kind of thing, I've got over 100 videos where I'm making models for model railroading, and lots of the tips that I give in model railroading can apply to your fantasy art. And I welcome you to come on over and check out the rest of the videos. And if you like those videos, please consider checking out patreon.com/Ron Perry, because that's where you go to get me to make more. Because I only make more if I'm inspired. Arr! No, not pirates. Like a kinder. They're laughing and giggling. Hee! Whatever, I better stop while I'm ahead, shouldn't I? Talk to you later, my friends.